All right, let's go. Let's roll with it.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of En-Syte. I'm your host, Steven, joined by one of my favorite people, Big Bro Dre. What's good?
Man, what's cracking, lacking family? What's going on, bro?
Man, nothing much about nothing much, man. It's just another day, another hot day. Dealt with all these storms, tornadic activity and shit.
Man, but you want to know what's really crazy, bro? Is, and I'm gonna say this, is that we're we're in a spot right now that got a lot of stuff that's going on. But lucky we're in an area, man, that we getting rain with it because we got some spots out there, man. That rain is ridiculous right about now, man.
Man.
So we real good right now, man. I'm gonna say we good right now, fam.
We good right now? Hey, I mean, over the course of the past 2 days, man, basically tornadoes, heavy rain, thunderstorms, and then it becomes hot as all shit. Over the course of just the past few days, from Saturday to now, this is the Midwest for y'all. This is the Midwest. We literally get like every bit of type of weather in the shortest amount of time, and it is ridiculous about like
Man,
how
but hey,
hard it hits.
I'd rather be in this 100 in this weather what we got right now with 84 degrees. If we know gonna get some goddamn gonna rain instead of sitting in Vegas right now was anywhere between 115 and 120. Or out there in Phoenix the same thing. But also, man, you got Seattle where it's raining all the time in Seattle. They ain't getting no rain in Seattle right now, man. It's just like straight between 97 and 103. Fam, I'm gonna take this rain right now. Even though it's like it's buckets being thrown the buckets being thrown at us. But I'm gonna take
Man,
this rain right now, man. Seriously, I'm gonna take this
it's
rain.
more than just some buckets, man. It's like they just harpooning. This is like someone just harpooning water, just take it and just eating shit, just
Man,
like taking a
it's like the
whole
bucket challenge every day, man.
man. And the thing is, it's not constant. It's not constant. Just let you know, it's not constant raining. It's all of a sudden it's just quick burst of rain, then it stops. Quick burst of rain, then it stops. Quick burst of rain, then it stops. I'm like damn. Tammy gonna say, "Yeah, bitch, yeah." That's basically what it is. Like that's how it's treating us right now. That's how Mother Nature's treating us right over here. It's like, oh, y'all want the water? Yeah, bitch. Like it's basically just like
Take
that.
take this water. Take
Like
this
y'all wanted
water.
y'all was
Take this
complaining. Y'all
water.
was complaining about y'all being hot. I got you. I got a cool down for y'all. Here go about like 35,000 gallons of water, just splash.
Yeah,
Oh man, but
man.
other than that though,
It's been crazy, man. It has been crazy, dude.
yes it is. Other than that though, I hope everybody's had a good weekend. It's another good week of insight here for y'all. Well, even though it's only 2 days, but still, it's 2 good days of insight. It's another week. They'll start another week. So I'm glad that y'all able to take the time out of y'all day and able to join us. Um, as you see, Shay is not with us today. She will be with us in the audience, as she says. As she told us, she is unable to be on video at this moment. Other than that, was able to acquire somebody else. They're currently busy at the moment, but they're going to join us shortly. So hopefully they're able to join in on us and give us a little bit of female perspective about this particular topic because I
It's
think
an
a
old
female
friend to the show. It's an old friend to the show.
yeah, it's an old friend. She's been on if you watch Insight over the course of the past year, maybe year and a half, you will recognize this face. This is a good friend of Dre's, good friend of mine's, real cool people's, love her to death. And she speaks the truth. She speaks very bluntly. I mean very bluntly. So y'all better be prepared for that. Y'all say something to her. Y'all better be prepared for that feedback because it's gonna come strong from her.
Mm-mm.
Man. But other than
Yeah.
that though, man, this topic right here is I'm not gonna say it's controversial. I'm not gonna say that. But it's something that has been a part of the world for decades, maybe even centuries. It has been very very quiet for the longest, and it has slowly surfaced to the point that it is now a very, very open thing. To the point now, this is something that is celebrated. It's almost as if almost like a holiday. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. So before we even fully get into this, just want to say that we have nothing against anybody who lives this particular lifestyle. We have nothing against anybody who chooses this as their way of living, or if this is, this is what you are, this is how it is. I want everybody to be happy regardless of whatever path you choose to go down in your life. I just want you all to be happy and love who you love. Does not matter one bit to me. I'm pretty sure Dre feels the same way. And I know Shay feels the same way. Us here on En-Syte, we want you all to be happy, love who you love, and cherish who you love. Because as Dre always says at the end of the show, love on your peoples.
Most definitely, most definitely. Um, I want to piggyback on that, but I want to go a little bit deeper. Okay.
Go ahead.
Today we're talking about the truth. The truth is what your sexual orientation is. What's up, Casey? How you doing, sweetie?
Hey, Casey.
I have family members. When I say family members, I mean family members that I love and adore. That's very close to me, and this is the lifestyle that they choose to live. And sometimes it's hard for people to really talk to their family members about, or the people who they really love, about what they really doing. And it's okay to do what you want to do. But the one thing you got to realize is, as a person, is you got to love your people no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Love them, respect their decision. Everybody, I mean, everything is not going to be the way that you may want it to be. But the one thing that you can do is to love the people that you have. Love them because you never know how much time you got with that person.
Exactly.
Respect their decision. Respect their decision. But the one thing that I always say, and I think I say this more than anything, is whatever you do, be careful doing it and just protect yourself. Because a lot of people are not open minded to the things in which you're doing.
True.
And just protect yourself. And I'm about to say something, and fuck it, I'm gonna say it. Be you. But in the process of being you, don't forget what God made you to be.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I'm at with the whole situation.
Well, no,
But I
just.
am gonna say but I am gonna say something, man.
Mhm.
And people might get mad, but I don't give a dang on right now. Whatever is going on right now, but it doesn't seem like on a lot of television commercials and everything else, we got a lot of people who are, it's like this lifestyle is, I'm not going to say it's being forced upon us, but this lifestyle is being, it's like you see it so open and vividly now that once upon a time that you didn't see it.
Exactly.
Is it me? Do I see two Jennifers right about now?
You might see two of them due to the fact that you watch it on Facebook and you watching the live of the feed at the same time. But since Jen just popped in, y'all, this is Jennifer.
Yeah.
Everybody, for y'all, if y'all don't remember, like right now, if it's a try and make, I'm trying to make y'all a
That's
little
just me,
bit
man.
bigger.
That's me.
Make y'all a little bit bigger since Jen just popped in, so it'll be a little bit more evenly spread. And boom, there it is. There we go.
Jennifer, what's up, Jen Dog?
Hey,
Welcome to the
Jen.
show.
So for everybody who don't know, this is Jennifer. She's a good friend of both me and Dre.
Make sure you all can hear me good.
We
Yeah,
can
we
hear
can
you.
hear
We
you
can hear
just
you.
fine. This is a good friend of ours. She's been on a couple of episodes in the past, and over the course of time. But she's been
Man,
actually,
first and foremost, Jennifer is not a friend.
Can you
Jennifer
hear
is
me?
family.
yeah, she's familiar.
That's family. That is family. That is my little sister,
Can you hear that, Mom?
and I loves me some her. And y'all got the little background noise. That's Malcolm in the background.
That's her
Hey,
son
Jennifer,
Malcolm.
Casey says hi to you.
I don't know if Jen can
I
hear us.
don't
Can
know
you
if
hear
this
us,
is
Jen?
her.
I don't think Jen can hear us right now. She's having some audio issues. Y'all give us a moment. Give her a moment. She's gonna try and get in as best as she can.
All right. So So people in the audience, I got a couple of questions for people in the audience right about now. What is your, if you have someone that's very very close to you that you truly love, and they came to you and they stated, whether it's I'm gonna say daughter, son, or sister, brother, nephew, niece, when
Hmm.
they come to you and they tell you that I'm living an alternative style, that I am gay or lesbian, well, how do you accept that? How do you take that?
That's a good question. That's a very good question. But I'm gonna actually go on to something else because, like you said, like you have people in your family that you love dearly, stuff like that. My god sister, who recently just got married 2 months ago, she recently just got married 2 months ago, and she married someone who is born a female, changed to a man. And I wasn't able to attend the wedding, which I'm actually pissed about. I wasn't able to attend the wedding because I had to work. Uh, but I was able to watch it. They did a whole Zoom wedding thing, and man, if it wasn't just the most beautiful thing ever to actually see my little god sister get married for the first time ever, like this is some beautiful stuff. She's happy.
Mhm.
I'm happy that she's happy and everything like that, and she's happy with someone who she's comfortable with in terms of her sexuality, in terms of that person's sexuality. They are both extremely comfortable in the whole thing, you know,
Gotcha.
and it's just a great thing. Kesa says, I would have to support them because enough people won't. Plus, it wouldn't change my love for them anyway. Exactly. And that's one major thing.
Thank you, Casey. Thank you, Casey. I
That's,
appreciate that answer. I really do.
yeah,
I
because that's
really
just it.
do, because there's so much out there, so much hatred out there.
Exactly.
It's just so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. But to piggyback on what you just said, um, a young lady that I used to date. When I say date, I mean date.
They date.
Uh, yeah, date. This my early 20s. I mean, right now, late teen years, early 20s.
Okay.
It's, she was, when we were together. Hey, she was just me and her.
Mm-hmm.
Now, within like the last month and a half or so, she married a young lady.
Okay.
I mean, I knew about her alternative lifestyle years ago when she told me about it, but she actually did the dang on thing. I mean, they did the whole thing in Vegas. They ran a big hall in Vegas and everything else. According to the pictures, man, the pictures are absolutely amazing. I mean, so just like I said, man, love on your people, man. And it was like when she first told me, it was like and she's very, very blunt in how she speaks.
Mm-hmm.
She's very blunt. And I'm like, hey, what's been going on? How you doing? Because you lose touch for a little while. And she just told me, she was like, oh, I do this, and that. Bam. I'm like, what? And it was no conversation afterwards. We straight flowed with it, and that's how I wound up going, man. So at that point in time, it was like, hey, that's what it is. Tammy comes back and she says, I will automatically accept and support them. I
Yes.
mean, that's the one thing. I mean, but I, now if people gonna get mad at me right now,
Oh,
and I'm fucking gonna say it, but man, when you straight flamboyant with it, I can't do it. I just can't do it. I mean, I'm serious. I mean, it's over when you just straight over the top with it. I mean, I'm still gonna support you. I'm gonna tell you about yourself. Seriously.
but that's
Because I
their
got somebody
personality.
So what if it's your
he's one of my
child?
no, no. Hold on. Let me break it down to you like this, okay? It could be my child and anything else, but hey, my whole thing, I'm still gonna support you, but I'm still gonna tell you, hey, tone that shit down a little bit, tone it down, because a lot of people are not gonna support you. We're in November. I was reading something the other day. It was on one of those things about Jamaica. So we're going to Jamaica in November, and they saying that in Jamaica homosexuality that it's like it's frowned upon out there. It's really frowned upon, and they're still you got like people going at them like it's more accepted with with female, but male versus male, it's like people are still being attacked out there.
Hmm.
So you need to know where you're going and things that you're doing. That's not allowing them to be their true selves, though, Dre. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It's allowing them to be their true selves. In my opinion, it is. But I mean,
If they're overly
Okay.
flamboyant, though, if you see it as overly flamboyant, but that's their personality, that's what she's saying. It's not you're not letting them be their true selves if you tell them to tone it down. But saying that's you got to think about that's what you got to think about. There's actually some heterosexuals out there who are very energetic about who they are in terms of everything. They're very out there with like whatever the case may be. Just like if it's like someone who like works out a lot or something like that. Like, look at these muscles. Look at me, I'm strong as shit. Yeah, 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 yeah. And that's who they are. But you can't tell them to tone that down because that's based off of who they are. That's basically the same thing in terms of this. If this is someone who is maybe to you is overly flamboyant about it, that's just who they are. They like to express who they are to the fullest capacity of who they are. Like Tammy just said, they have loud personalities. You have people who are just like that. They are just very loud personalities of who they are. You have other people who work out just the same, but are very quiet about it. You know, like our coworker, who works at the job. When he works out like motherfucker, but he's not overly out there about it. You know,
Got you. I got you. I got you. I mean, hey, people say what they say. I got my own opinion about it.
no, true, true.
So yeah,
I'm not
I
knocking your
guess,
Yeah,
opinion.
but
Dre.
but, I,
And I
but I'm
understand
not.
what you're saying, Dre, about the being flamboyant. I'm trying not to be too loud while I'm driving, but being flamboyant because a part of that is that you're trying to protect them from what people are going to say and how society is going to view them because there is a stereotype when it comes to flamboyant homosexuals, whether you're a man or a female. You get categorized and people treat you different.
True. So basically, like,
Now,
okay, you have the
something that you all
go ahead.
I was gonna say something else that you all hit on, which was in Jamaica. So being in a different country where homosexuality is frowned upon heavily, and so I have experienced that firsthand. Um, in one of my careers where I was in a different country where those men are extremely heterosexual, but it'll never be publicized because it is actually against their religious practice. But when you're in a situation where you don't see the women, you can't get a woman unless you can afford her. And we know that, as human beings, we all have sexual needs, sexual desires. Where do you release? How do you release? So, yeah, that particular country is extreme. And I'm gonna tell you how we found out. We found out because they kept coming to our location to get um, medication for syphilis.
Ah,
That's how we found out. So all these men, had this venereal disease because they're having sex with each other. But it's not something that could get out publicly because they would be shamed. And who knows what type of extreme consequences that they would get in that particular country. So
point. Shay says, I feel like Dre is saying in so many ways, it's a time and place for their personalities. Okay, I can see it from that perspective. Like, and depending on where it is, it's not really necessary to be very, very forward about how you are. You can still be who you are, but not to be loud or overly dramatic about it. Tammy says, are you embarrassed by them because they're not afraid of being judged or hurt sometimes?
No, I'm not. I'm not embarrassed at all because I'm not. And when I'm with them, I'm not embarrassed. But I'm super protective on how society would treat them or act towards them because I've seen how society is, the things that's being said, and the things that happens. And it's just that maybe that's just the father in me, or maybe that's just my personality of being protective over someone. And y'all already know when we together, it's like I'm like the biggest one in the world that's gonna be super protective over everybody. And so I mean
yeah,
that's just how I
I
flow
mean,
with it. But
yeah, it's a legit concern, Dre, and
my
it's
whole
it's
thing,
true. All I'm saying is
I
that
got
I
you. I
agree with
mean,
you. I would definitely say that do not be overly flamboyant with that. Even if you're hetero. I mean, but that's another topic.
Yeah, Shay said that's like at a job interview. You're not loud at no job interview. No, you're not really. But basically, like it is, it's the time and place for everything. And if it's not the time or place for it, then I can understand. She also says it has nothing to do with embarrassment. It's everything to do with acting accordingly, and that's something that I can actually get. You're not going to go up into some place and be loud 100% of the time. You're not going to be, you're not going to be straightforward about it 100% of the time because like you're not going to go into a job, like you said, a job interview. You're not going to go into a church being loud or something like that. If it's not the time or place for it, you're not going to go into a funeral being loud or something about it because that's not the time or place for it. So it's not the simple fact as we're saying like you shouldn't be that way. It's just a time and place to be that way. Because regardless of the fact that you are, homosexual or heterosexual, bisexual, trans, whatever you identify as, there's a time and place to act accordingly. Casey then says, but according to who, Shay? Casey also says, I'm being the devil's advocate right now. Casey's taking your place, Shay. Well, yeah. So I do understand when Dre says tone it down some, because right now it's not the time for it. Right now it's not the place for it. But who is it according to though, Shay? Though, because Casey just asked you that question. Who is it according to that these people can act a certain way at a certain time? Shay says your
Well, she
environment.
comes back.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just about to repeat what Shay just said. It says Shay says your environment, the circumstances, and the events.
Mm-hmm. And Tammy says, so consider how many black women will censor themselves in public just to avoid stereotypes. They'll tone it, quote unquote, tone it down.
Okay.
And we have the fact of that matter is that we have for centuries we have definitely modified who we are as black women to fit into what society considers acceptable, and so has everyone else. And
Mm-hmm.
that's the thing, like it is what it is. I mean, we view things, for example, the term ratchet that has evolved over the past decade or whatever. Like there's a category of people that um fall into that, where there's types of people that falls into that category as ratchet. And it really has nothing to do with your skin color. It's about their personality, how they portray themselves in public according to what is considered elite, middle class, lower class, and ratchet. However you want to throw it in there. But
Yeah.
we have.
Casey then says, I guess I feel that way because these people are killing themselves because the world has said they don't fit the world's standards. There's no such thing as a standard on this planet
No, it
at
isn't.
all.
But my whole thing is that it's this. Everybody's going to do what you're going to be you no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Be you. I'm not telling you not to be you, but there are some times we just need to know when to be you. You don't have to announce to the world who you are. The world sees who you are,
Exactly.
and you don't have to. And my thing is sometimes is that you don't have to make the world to accept who you are. A lot of times you're not going to be accepted for who you are at all.
Yeah,
Be you. Be the best that you can be, and continue. And don't worry about being accepted.
that is very true.
Um, Shivani comes back and says black people are being killed because we don't fit the world standard based off our color, and
Yeah.
that's true.
And
But
cases,
but but I'm sorry. Go ahead, bro.
yeah, Casey just said so true, Shay. Even though we're talking about gay people right now, but even though we're talking about gay people right now, but should we have to keep changing ourselves to meet these invisible standards out there? That's the thing again.
No,
There's no such thing as standards on this planet because standard is basically a normal thing. There's nothing normal about anything or anybody on this planet. We are all different for a reason. We all have differences for reasons. And the case is this: you're not going to have somebody on one side of the planet acting the exact same as somebody else on the other side of the planet. You're not going to be the same as your next door neighbor. Nobody's going to be the same at work. Just like you go to work, you have a job where it's just say thousands of employees. You have the hardworking people, the people who come in to do their job, and you have the ones who do just enough to keep their job. Nobody is the fucking same at any point in time. So there is no such thing as standard, period. So the world needs to understand that there's no standards at all. See, Casey says that's
So,
both gay
so
and black.
treat
Go ahead.
Stephen. I think that is a naive way of thinking to state that there's no such thing as a standard. Because if it wasn't, we wouldn't have all these sororities and fraternities. We wouldn't have classes or socioeconomics where people are put into certain levels based on who they are and how they look. There is a such thing as standard. Now the thing is that do we abide by um, what requirements or whatever the people who put those standards in place, do we say, well, yeah, you put that standard in place. Um, I'm not going to live up to that standard because this is who I am and this is how I'm going to be, and you're still going to accept me. That's where the difference is. But to say
Mhm.
that there is no standard, there's definitely a standard. Because there are standards in the continent of Africa, South Africa. They call them levels. There are standards.
I'm not saying that there is no standards. I'm just saying there really shouldn't be any standards. I believe that there shouldn't be any at all because it makes no sense to place people in certain areas. I understand that there's people who have differences and they live differently or they get paid differently or whatever the case may be. But to shun somebody out because they don't live up to a certain standard, to shame somebody because they're not up to what you believe that they should be in your area or whatever, or their lifestyle or whatever the case may be, you shouldn't belittle somebody because they chose a particular way of living. And that's just not what you believe in. Let me see. I forgot where we
And we
left
got
off
a
at.
whole bunch. We
Yeah, I
got a
don't even
whole
know where we
bunch
left at.
of feedback. We're
Okay.
gonna start with Tammy. Tammy says teachers are cutting our children's hair off to make them fit a Eurocentric standard. It's like that for someone who is trans with a flamboyant personality. They'll tone it down for work. But Kesa says exactly, Steve. Culture plays a part in who we are. And Tammy comes back and said they shouldn't for every day. I understand that, Tammy. Um, Shay totally agrees with what Jen just said. She said, that's right, Jen. And then Casey says, whether we want to accept it or not, we have standards. And that's we're going back to the standards conversation.
Okay.
Well, we got a couple of questions that was posed earlier in our own private little conversation.
Yeah.
And it says that would you date a man or a woman who dates transgender?
I mean, here's the thing that I'm gonna base it off of. I'm gonna base it off of. Now, here's the thing: if someone who is a man or a woman who dates someone transgender, the first thing that you'll come to your mind is ask, like, well, does this make this person gay or bisexual? And a lot of people will say yes. A lot of people will say yes, that would make them either gay or bisexual because they're dating someone who was born one way and has changed to another. Now, just just for shits and giggles, just for shits and giggles, if you have a man who is dating someone who looks like a woman who was born a man, and they also date actually born women, does that technically make them gay because they're going to something that they are normally attracted to? Just because a person is born differently? That's the question that I have in terms of this. And vice versa for women. A woman who goes after someone who was born a woman but has changed into a man and looks legitimately like a man, does that still make them gay because they're going towards something that they're attracted to? Let's see. Tammy says the unfortunate truth is that the default standard is middle class heterosexual white people that marry/dates the opposite gender. Casey then says no in terms of the question. She can date someone who dates someone transgender. Tammy says, "Can you elaborate, Casey?" Casey then says, "Sure." At Tammy, I think he's asked, "Would you date someone that is trans?" And my answer was no, 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 not date someone who's trans. Would you date someone who dates transgender people? Would you date a man who also would date a transgender woman? That was the question, right, Dre?
Yes.
Okay. Just to make it clear, that is the question. Not would you date someone that's trans?
She said still no.
All right, still no. There it is. There it is.
What about you, Jen Dog?
Um,
What
so
about you, Shay Boogie?
no, I would not share. I would not date someone who dates someone who's transgender because to me it means that they're bi. I mean, or they're hetero. I mean homo, but homosexual. So no, I would not. But you do have, just like men have been deceived many years by men who have become trans, you have a lot of women who are being deceived as well.
Tammy says a lot of people will hide their previous relationships because they're afraid of being rejected for their preferences. Oh yeah, that's definitely a thing. Because that's going to be a forever constant thing because they're going to feel
I
like they're
mean
not going to be accepted.
that's true because you're going to hide something that you've done. But also the biggest thing is that but you also want to be honest. If you try to, you want to be honest if you want to continue to grow with someone. You see what I'm saying
Hmm.
about what you did in the past. So you want to be honest about that. But sometimes, man, honesty ain't honesty. Some people don't know how to be honest. I'm being real with you, man. Ooh, we got feedback, don't
Hmm. Casey just says, and Jennifer, they really don't look at themselves as gay, which is the difficult part to understand because
we?
You said that.
they're not gonna see themselves as gay because they think that they're dating in their mind they're dating a transgender woman, but they also date actual women. So in a sense, they're not gay in their mind. They may be bi or even still straight. Then Tammy says, but that brings
You
us
know,
back to. Oh, go ahead, Jen.
I was gonna say that brings us back to the whole. Then they're not being them true selves. If you had a gender change and you're saying that I don't see myself as a man anymore or a woman anymore because now I have this change as a man, and you're not honest about it, then you're not being honest with yourself. So if you're not honest with yourself, then why should I accept you for what you're trying to present?
That's true. Tammy then says that brings us back to C's question. Does that make them bisexual if they date a woman born as a woman and date transgender women who were born as men but pass as women? Does that make them bisexual? In case it says, well, I was talking about the actual trans person. They don't look at themselves as being gay. No, they don't. No, they do not, because since they have transferred over from being one gender to the other, they no longer see themselves as gay. They see themselves as heterosexual because now, say, transgender man, or say a man changes into a woman. That woman is going after men. So in the whole construct, they are heterosexual women going after heterosexual men. At least that's the mindset of it, which oddly enough makes sense because in your mind you see yourself and you feel yourself as this particular gender.
So if a valet person or someone coming out of a restaurant walks up to a valet person who has a Lamborghini sitting outside, and that person says, "Hey, can I take a picture in that Lamborghini?" And they sit in the Lamborghini, take a picture, and put it on Instagram and say, "This is me and my new ride." But in reality, They can't even afford a Lamborghini.
Mhm.
Is that still not falsely portraying the truth about yourself? It
Oh no,
is.
oh no, it is. It is. I never did. I never denied that. Never doubted that. But that's exactly what it is. I'm just saying, in their minds, this is what they see themselves as. So, like, he takes the picture. I was like, take a picture like this is my new Lambo. In his mind, this is his new Lambo, and he's showing it off to everybody, even though good and well he can't even afford the tires on the thing.
Man, for some odd reason, right there, man, Kesa and Jen Dog is just they on point with each other right now.
Hmm.
So Kesa came right back and said the exact same thing that Jennifer was saying pretty much in her soliloquy right then and there. He says, so then would you still say that they aren't being their genuine selves in this regard?
Yeah.
Being yeah, y'all on point with each other. Y'all are on point with each other.
Don't you just love the
Mm.
wavelengths just happening, just the wavelengths just
Oh
going through
yeah.
it and shit? Just love it.
Oh yeah, man.
Case says at Tammy, that's why it's so hard to understand, in my opinion. This is, in a sense, hard to understand because there's so many different variables, and at the same time, we are trying our best to understand it, and at the same time, not be insensitive about it.
Most definitely. Because I'm sitting here right now, man. It's like a couple of times through the conversation. I'm not going to even lie to you. I have been, I've been lost in the conversation a couple of times. So I just sit back and I'm just trying to hear, and I'm just trying to feel my way through this whole thing. I
Hmm.
said what I said earlier, but now when we start getting to the trans part, I'm not going to say I'm ignorant of the fact I do. So I got a question. So when you use the word trans, that means they have had the whole surgery, whole operation
It depends.
already? Or
It
they
depends. So it depends on you have pre-op, you got pre-ops and post-ops. So it really just depends on that juncture right there. But if you want to just settle it down, make it easy, we can always just say post-op and just say that these are people who went through the full transformation.
okay? So just say they haven't went through the whole transformation. Do they still call themselves trans?
Yes, they still do identify themselves as as whichever gender that they're going for. If it's a man,
Okay,
they identify as a woman, and vice versa.
so just say you're still in the process. You're still a man, and you still have man parts,
Hmm.
and you're going to bed with another man.
Yes,
Are
and
you still trying? Are you seeing yourself as heterosexual,
yes,
or
because
how?
the whole thing is, even though you still have all of these, you still have all of your original parts that you were born with. That's not due to the fact of a mental mindset or what you feel, what you want to be, or where you're going. That's more so of the fact that I can't afford the surgery right now.
Okay,
I know it sounds weird, but that's really basically off of what it is. This is like I can't afford this surgery right now. But when I am able to, then yes, it'd be a full on transformation. Because it was this I remember one employee at a job, solidly 100% dude, looks like 100% dude, but will classify as a woman and will go into the woman's restroom. Never once have I seen him go into the men's restroom. Always went to the women's restroom.
I will say this, and some people might not like this comment, but when a trans man can transition himself to the point where he can have a baby, then I'll accept him as a woman. Other than that, he's still a man.
You know what? Shoot, the way things is going right now, technology and science, that's probably not as far off as we think it is. Uh,
but
let's see. We got some feedback. Where were we at? Where were we at? Where were we at?
man, damn.
Wait, hold on, hold on, hold
Last one,
on.
Bro B, it was Kesa saying at Tammy.
Okay, so then Casey says, Dre, we might all be ignorant on this topic. This is why it's good to have discussions like this so we can try to understand. True, it is. Tammy says, to them, they're a woman on the inside. Exactly, it's a mental thing. Shay says, but if you fully completely the surgery, if you fully completed the surgery, the gender that you want to become, are you still considered trans? Yes. Um, in my opinion, yes. Tammy says, not a man, so they consider themselves hetero. Kay says, at Shay, it's really confusing. Tammy then says, I know who you're talking about, Steve. I wonder if you do. Um, Then Shay says, I agree with Kesa. Kesa says, at Jennifer, boom, in terms of a man having a baby, or the transgender man into a woman having a baby. Uh, then Tammy says, at Shay, they are still considered trans because the reality is that they transition to that gender. And Shay says, I'm done with that response. And hey Tracy, how y'all doing? Well, hey Tracy, how you doing? Welcome to the show.
What's going on, Tracy? How you doing now? But man, but I have to go back when you you said something, and the words was, and I'm just trying to fill it. I'm trying to figure this out right now. Okay,
Yep.
you said your words was, and I mean we all trying to navigate through this right now.
Mm-hmm.
You said that if a man he hasn't fully transitioned, that did his post op whatever it is,
Mm-hmm.
but he sees himself mentally as a transgender,
Yeah.
and he's having a relation with another man,
Yeah.
and you said but he considers himself heterosexual
Yes.
in this situation.
Yes.
I'm saying you got two balls bumping against each other, man. That's not hetero.
I know.
I'm sorry.
To
I
us,
mean,
it's
hey,
not.
I'm and if I
Oh,
offended anybody that's out there listening to this, if I offended anybody, I'm sorry. I do apologize. I'm just trying to navigate my way through this whole situation because
Mm-hmm.
I want to be informed, because I want to understand. So hopefully someone can sit there and pop in these comments after the show is over. We know we're going to be on different platforms. And so once we get on these different platforms and someone's listening to this, can you guys please tell us, help us out so we can all educate. This is what this whole platform is for, to be educational, so we can have adult grown folks conversation so it can spread to the masses. But I just want to understand what's going on,
Okay.
seriously.
Let me
And
let
if
me.
I'm ignorant about it, I apologize for my ignorance.
Okay.
But go ahead, bro.
Okay. I'm gonna break it down like this, and this is just a thought that just came across my mind. Say you have two homosexual males, right? They are two homosexual males. They are both males. They're not trans. They both legit look like dudes. Not one is like looking feminine or anything like that, or being or acting well, not appearing feminine, not wearing wigs or anything like that. They are just a straight. They're just a solid male who is homosexual, right? So in your
Hmm.
mind, these are two men who are homosexuals, and they're living their lifestyle as such. What is the difference between a homosexual male who is not changing their actual gender versus a man who changes his gender to make himself into a woman, or to have the belief that he is a woman? What is the difference between that and that? Now the thing is this:
it's just physical, the physical appearance.
the
That's it.
the physical appearance, but also the reason why they're making
I,
his physical appearance, the reason why they're making this physical change, is due to the fact that this is how they feel on the inside. This is what they feel as
no,
though
that's
they're
because
supposed to
they
be.
need to see it to believe it. It's a mental thing for them.
Yeah.
They're not trying to convince us. Because if you like women as a woman, you like women. If you like men as a man, you like men. They're trying to convince themselves. That's the reason why they're getting that change. I feel like a woman on the inside, so I'm going to physically change myself so I can look like a woman. But I am a man who likes men, and I'm going to continue to date men. That for me,
Mm-hmm.
when people go to that level of modifying um, their physical appearance just to, as a man or as a woman to look like the other gender,
Mm-hmm.
that has nothing to do with society or how they may feel on the inside. They're just trying to, in my opinion, they're just trying to convince themselves. I feel like a woman, so I need to look like a woman.
Okay.
And that may sound very mean, but
And we got.
that's just my
Let's see.
I mean, the thing is that we all have opinions on the situation, because I'm gonna say this is that maybe, I mean, we are not stating that we don't, that we're totally, that we're against what people do. We're not
Mm-hmm.
stating those things. What we're saying is that we, you have an opinion on the things that you do, and we have our opinion on how we feel about it.
Yeah.
That there's no wrong or no right way to feel about it. We're not bashing what you do. We're trying to understand, and this is how we feel about it. That's all we're saying.
Yeah.
But go ahead, Steve.
Okay. Let's see. Shay says, but it's like you have this. Huh, but it's like you have. Okay. I think she must have felt that twice. You have one foot in each gender roles. I'm not understanding this. Uh, she's saying it's like you have one foot in each gender role. She's not understanding this. Casey said that's where I get confused too, Dre, in terms of like a transgender woman who has not had the operation yet. Tammy says for some they will adopt a more palatable palatable. I don't know why I couldn't read that for a second. A more palatable identity, like homosexual, until they become more passing. Tammy then says, so Dre, you're confused because they're thinking of it as how they look physically, but it's actually based on how they identify. Shay says that Jennifer, you're on point with that. And then Casey says that Tammy, I understand that, but I guess I can't keep up. Mm. Now,
You
see,
know, recently, I just want to pose this question to everyone because now we have people are asking the question, how do you identify him, he, him, she, her, or they? And so I was volunteering. I was trying to volunteer actually for this particular organization within my community. And the person, I told them my name, and the person said, which pronoun do you prefer? That question annoyed me so much to the point that I did not respond to that person because in my head I'm thinking, why do I just told you who I am. Um, why do I have to now put myself in another box to select a pronoun? So how do you all feel about that? What do you all think about that?
mm, I guess I'm a little, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that, honestly. I thought I felt a certain way, but I don't know how I feel about that because it's like, it's one of those things like, I'm here, you see my appearance, you see how I appear as. So why is that
So
question?
why ask that question?
Yeah, that's what I said.
That was my
Why should that
point.
question be posed?
Yeah, that was my point. It's like now I have to prove to you that I'm a real woman. It's kind of how I felt.
Yeah. And Shay says I would have responded the noun I identify with is Shay.
I love it, Shay.
Um,
Let's see. Casey says at Jennifer, I've
Me
never had.
personally, hold on,
Oh,
bro,
go
before
ahead,
you
go
even
ahead.
go. Me personally, man, I would have just did. I'm like, I identify as a main, MAIN, a main.
Man, I don't know why when you said that, I thought you was gonna spell it like how Terrace house. Mayne. Mine. I identify as a mine. Casey says, at Jennifer, I've never had that happen to me, but the groups we are discussing really give people a hard time about it. So this is the response we give. We get. Tammy says it was really designed to respect people who did not identify with gender normative roles. Because yeah, there are people out there who are. I think the word
I
is
mean,
what's so
trust me.
binary. Binary.
But we totally understand that, Tammy, and we do understand that, and but it's at a point that I don't know. It's just that sometimes it takes us non-binary. Okay,
Non-binary. That's what it
it,
is. Non-binary.
it just takes us. It takes us a while to just. It just takes us a while. Jen Doll. Shay says she love you too.
Mm. But man, this is one of those things.
Non-binary. Fam. I was so very concerned about this topic today,
You and me both, brother.
and, and I'm gonna tell you how so concerned we was about this topic was. We thought about not even doing the show, and I sat there and I was about to get ready and text Steve, And what we this is what we used to do before we used to have shows planned out. I'd be like, yo, just give me. We're gonna do show 76 and run with show
Mhm.
76. I'm serious. And we just redo a topic again. And that's where we were at. But I want to say, everybody, thank y'all for your comments. Thank you for your feedback. Um, Thank you for help educating me. Thank you, because I mean, like I say, I have family members, close family members, that identify themselves. I'm not going to say maybe it's close to being transgender because actually it hasn't actually, he had the surgery, whatever else. But I know for certain of the way that they're gay, and
Mhm.
I respect them, I love them, and I will fight to the end of the world for them, and that's just the way I am. We got Timmy said non-binary. Then Casey comes with a little feedback and said that's why it gets confusing. So I'm looking at a man and he's cussing me out because he wants to be identified as a woman. But sir, you look like a man, dude. I got something for y'all.
Mhm.
So everybody knows when you come to board now, you must have an ID
Yeah.
at work. So transgender person came, had the makeup on, had the hairdo and everything else, trying to get in. Had the wig and everything else, trying to get onto the boat. And it was a whole thing. And this was old Mr. Felton. Mr. Felton,
Oh.
like, no, 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 this don't match right here. Your ID, your picture your face and your ID must match each other.
Mhm.
And it was a whole big thing going on. But long story short, they could not get onto the casino because of what their ID stated. So I mean, so it's
Yeah.
but I know I think Illinois now is not doing with genders on it anymore. I'm not for certain. I think so.
Oh wow.
But Shay comes and says, I think they are personally trying to mentally figure their lives out, and the matches are catering. Tammy is laughing. Casey said she totally agrees with Shay. And then Tammy also said that she knew that we have some concerns and some hesitation with this topic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Casey comes, you are confusing you are confusing me, looking like Arnold Schwarzenegger, and want me to call you Miss Mary. I'm just saying.
Oh my God. Case get. Oh, case. Case log off. Case log off. Case log off.
Not Schwarzenegger to Miss Mary. Come on, man. Mm, mm,
Case need to log off right now. I'm just saying. Just like seriously.
Even Jeff had to laugh on that one right there, boy.
I mean, but I understand that. I understand that. I mean, I understand that you want to identify yourself as something, but you coming up and looking like the exact opposite of what you're trying to identify as. Now that's a little discerning. That's a little disconcerting right there. I'm just like, yeah, nothing against it, but still, look like what you want to identify as. Not just saying like
I
that's
mean, it,
you
it
know.
was the funniest stuff in the world, man. Because you can hear Mr. Felton on the radio.
Oh my gosh, I can
And
imagine that right there. I can
he's like,
imagine that right there.
I need a
That's
supervisor at the arena
embarrassing.
board right now.
That's embarrassing. Like
He
I
was
would
like,
think
oh,
the person
I
would be
got somebody trying to come in and look like the ID. It was just like that. It,
Tammy said beauty costs money.
yeah.
Not if it's natural.
She says easier for men to transition to women, easier for women to transition to men, so long as they don't have an A cup. Okay,
Oh, as long as
but
they have an A
but you
cup.
have
Oh my
women.
god.
Yeah, women are getting those breasts cut off and everything else now.
Yeah, but it's easy when you just got an A cup because you ain't even got to worry about cutting them off because they already damn near flat chested.
Stop it, bro. Stop it, bro.
No, I'm just saying that's what she's saying. Like it's like that's just that's like because like if it's not if you don't have the money for the surgery to transition over, that's what makes it difficult to change. That's the whole difficulty in terms of actually physically changing because that's what That's what most want. They want the complete 100% physical change, but it costs so much money to do so. And that's why a lot of them go down to what's his name? What's his name down there, Mr. Miami or something like that, Dr. Miami.
Dr. Miami.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what a lot of them go down to. A lot of them go down to him. So it's
So
like,
hey, I got a question for you. Got a
mhm.
question. We talked about it on the other side. If you dated someone who dates other people, but would you knowingly date someone who was transgender?
Would you knowingly date someone transgender?
Yeah. If they tell you, that you had a conversation and she was like, you laid back and he was like, yo, I was Bob in a future life, or or Jennifer, she'd be like, well, I was Angela in the previous life. I mean, talk to me, man.
I can't do it. I can't do it. I can tell you that right now. I cannot do it. I need someone who is 100% born a woman, 100% purity woman. Like, I can't. It's nothing against it. That's just my preference. Let's get this straight. This is my preference. It's like your preference is yours, mine is mine. Don't get on me about my heterosexuality, and I'm not getting on you about your homosexuality or your or any other sexualities that you may have. So,
Yeah.
in case of course, says still no. I want to date a heterosexual, and I would appreciate it if they give me a heads up so I can move along. Which a lot of them keep to themselves. They actually keep that to themselves. They do not say anything to anybody because they don't want to run anybody off, because it's hard for a transgendered individual to actually find someone that they like who likes transgenders. It's very
I
difficult.
mean, I'm serious, man. But yeah, y'all laying up, whatever, man. In my previous life, man, you know, I was Bob.
See, it throws you off when you're using this extra
They
deep
want the
voice.
benefits of being that other gender.
Pardon me. What you say, Jen Dog? I'm sorry.
I said they want the benefits of being that other gender, the
Mm.
physical appearance.
It's just the way that just Ray using the deep voice in my previous life. My name was Bob. Like,
Oh, I'm
damn,
sorry. Oh, I used to be Bob.
still creepy, still creepy.
No, serious, man. No, we got some feedback, bro.
Uh, Tammy that says, so then do love the person for themselves or for their body. That's that goes around whether this a heterosexual thing or a homosexual thing. Regardless, that's really just an all around question for every gender of life. Period. Right there. Do you love someone for themselves or for their body? But in this
Is that
case,
for men or for women?
we don't know at this point. Um, Cases then says not condoning violence, but that's why they've been getting hurt when people find out. Unfortunately, yes, they do, and that's very very sad. Like that's why they're trying to keep it hidden, because they don't want. It's been many times when I've actually heard that it was a transgender woman who later on tells the person that they've been dating, talking to, even sleeping with, saying like, "Yeah, I used to be a man," and then they actually abuse that person to the point that they kill them because they don't want no one of they don't want that no one wants that person to find out that they have dated someone who was actually their same gender as them before they transitioned over, and they're afraid that that
I've heard
person
that
will go out and
before.
tell and actually would kill that person. And that's the sad part about it. I don't care what lifestyle you live. It's not good to do. It's really sad that for something like that to happen to somebody based off of what they are. Um, Cases says, "I want
Little
to
bro.
love them. I want to love a male body." At Tammy, Tammy then says, "At Case they have to disclose it if they feel safe enough to do so." And then Case says, "At Tammy, they take away options when they don't, though."
True.
Hmm.
Little bro
Yep.
is after 6. You
Yep.
gotta go.
Yep. I know. I gotta roll up out of here. So, man, but this one right here was just one of them. This was one of them.
I wasn't expecting it to be one of them, but bruh, it was
Yeah,
one of them, man.
yeah, it
The
was.
moral of the story: The
Casey
moral
said
of
we
the
need part two. We don't need no
story
part two. We don't need no part two. So the thing is, I'm
uh, we'll come with a part two in a couple of weeks.
a couple of months, couple of years. You never know. Um,
Think of some questions. Think of some questions to add to this thing. Um, but the moral of the story is this: you can be whatever you want to be,
mhm.
and you can love whoever you want to love and what you want to love.
Yeah.
Some people will support you. The people who love you will support you.
Yes.
Don't look for everybody to support you, but just know that you have people out there that will love you, and there's people out there that's not going to support you at all. But the one thing you have to do is be who you want to be. Be you,
Mhm.
but you don't have to force who you are on the world.
Exactly.
There's a difference between being you and forcing who you are on the world. Like accept me. No, just be you, flow like a butterfly, and just matriculate through it, and everything will work out. That's
Mm.
just my opinion.
Jen.
Jennifer.
I agree. I mean, you have to be you and be the best version of yourself, whether people accept it or not. Um, it was a great topic. Thank you all for inviting me and allowing me to share my opinion.
All right.
Thanks for coming to hang out with us.
Appreciate you
We
talking back
missed
on
you.
that. Hang with us. We miss you, girl. We miss you. Oh man, but I can just say like this. This is one of those. This is one of those ones I was like, I ain't gonna lie, I was a little bit concerned about in the beginning, but it came out to come out pretty well. Again, for those of you that are listening, I really hope that at any point in time that we did not offend anybody, that we didn't say anything out of pocket, we didn't say anything disrespectful to you all. Um, this was not an intent. This was more so of a learning experience for all of us because all of us know not so much about it. So we're basing it off of what we do know and just putting our heads together throughout this conversation to figure it out. So again, if we have offended you at any point in time, we do apologize again. Um, but yeah, like I said, this is another great one. So thank you, Kaysa, Tammy, Shays, even though you wasn't here visibly, thank you for commenting as well. Tracy for showing up as well. And anybody else who might have been watching who were unable to comment, again, thank you all for these showing up. If you're new to the channel, go ahead, hit that subscribe button. If you're not yet subscribed, also hit that little notification bell, let you know when we go live. Remember, we go live every Tuesday and Wednesday, 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. Like I always say, if you don't know your time zones, look up the Windy City. You'll know what time it is. So once again, Dre, Jen, thank you all for showing up, giving us your little feedback on everything that's going to be up. Tomorrow's topic, 10 things to give as advice to younger people. When the huh? Okay, so tomorrow's like, okay, we're going to be talking to the kids. Ain't that some shit?
No,
Tomorrow's
what it really pretty much is going to be like it's 10 things of advice that you will give to a younger person. But also, what's the 10 things of advice that you know now that you'll give to yourself,
oh
the younger
Like
you?
that. That's a good one. I
yeah,
like it.
man. My first one is
What's the
that
10th
my first
thing?
one back. Don't date her.
You
As
can't
a-
reveal.
huh?
I say you can't reveal. Don't date her.
I was making a joke. I was making a joke. I was just making a joke.
Oh,
Don't.
that could be real. Look, I'm gonna tell y'all mine because one immediately popped into my head.
Okay, so if that be the case, then what? Hey, like I said, if things the way things may go, you're more than welcome to come back, Jen, at any given point in time. You know, we always love to see you. We always love to hear from you.
I might have to join on that one.
All right, hey, we can make things work. So,
All right.
so from all of us here on En-Syte, we got to get up out of here. You all have a beautiful night, and remember, as always, stay insightful. Peace.